What's going on, guys? Balkan Architect here, and when it comes to being an architect and working as an architect, one of the most important things is to be fast and efficient when it comes to using your tools. Now, it used to be drawing on a drawing board, then it moved into 2D drafting like AutoCAD, and now we're here in BIM, or Building Information Modeling, within the Revit environment. Now, when it comes to using these tools, it's really important to understand how the tools work, what's the best perhaps workflow, and just how to use everything most efficiently. Now, one of the most common tasks that you have to do in your day-to-day life as an architect working in Revit is to select different elements. Now, of course, selecting things can take just one click, or it can take a long time when it comes to making a really complex selection, if that's something that's important. And you can waste a lot of time if you don't know the proper selection tools, tips and tricks, and the whole workflow when it comes to selecting objects. I think it's really important to go over all of these techniques when it comes to selections and all of the tools that Revit has on offer, because it can make your whole workflow, your whole process a lot quicker if you know how to use them properly. So that's what we're going to be talking about in today's tutorial. Now, before I get into that, I would just like to ask you to like this video. It helps me out a lot with the whole YouTube algorithm, and also make sure to subscribe. I make useful Revit tutorials each week. I make multiple tutorials, and also I make some in-depth Revit courses if you want to, well, know how to complete projects on your own, complex projects, or advanced Revit topics. Those courses are all available on my website, balkanarchitect.com, and the link is available in the description of this video, so check it out. Also, on my Patreon, that's the second link in the description, I have all of my Revit project files, so if you're interested in checking those out, make sure to, well, go to that website. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get straight into Revit. And here we are in Revit, and this is the project that I'm going to be using to demonstrate all of these selection methods. This is the office building project, and I have a whole 12-hour course on this, so it's available on the links that I've already mentioned. Anyways, this is what we're going to be using to demonstrate all of these selection methods. So let's head over here to the floor plan, and let's get started. So the first thing for selecting elements, you just hover over them, they highlight, and then when you click, well, they're selected. Now, when you select any of these items, any of the elements on the screen, here in the properties, you're going to get some, well, properties for that element, and most importantly here, we have the category of the element, and then the number of instances or families that have been selected in the model. Now, you can expand your selection by holding the Control key, and then let's add a few more of these doors, or you can remove some of these from selection by holding the Shift key, and you can just remove one of those doors, for example. Now, as I did this here in the properties, you can notice that now it says doors 3. So we had just one door selected, and now there are 3 because, well, we have 3 doors selected. If I hold the Control key, add this door, it's going to say 4. So you can always find how many families you have selected here quickly. You don't have to count it, which is really useful. Moving on, you also can select some other items like this, and now it's going to say common and then 6 elements. So now we have 6 different families or elements selected, and because they're different categories, it's just going to say common over here. Now, of course, when it comes to creating selections, in some cases you might create a cross selection, something like this, and usually you will select too many elements. As you can see over here, it says common, so multiple categories, and we have 69 elements, which is way too much. So you have the option on the Modify tab. When you create any type of a selection, we have the filter option, and this allows you to filter down. So as you can see here, we have all of the categories listed, and these are all of the categories that have been selected. So we have detail items, dimensions, door tags, doors, furniture, and so on. So what you can do here is just uncheck the ones that you don't need, or go to check none and then just check the ones you want, hit apply, okay, and now we're down to 5 elements of the door category, and here you can see 5 doors selected.
Now I'm just going to click here out of this, here off to the side to get rid of this selection. And now let me show you something else. So when you right click on the screen, you get this pop-up menu, and then here we have the option to select previous. So it's basically going to repeat the previous selections we have made. So if I click there, as you can see now we have those 5 doors selected, and the 5 doors will highlight here on the screen for us. So if you accidentally click out and then you lose the selection, don't worry, at any point you just right click, select previous, and you got your selection. Now also when you right click, you have the option to select all instances. So for example, in this project, if I select just this door, and as you can see it says doors 1, I can right click just in empty space, go to select all instances, and then we have visible in view or in the entire project. So if I click visible in view, it's going to select all 6 doors that are visible here in this floor plan. So as you can see now it says 6 doors, and these 6 doors are highlighted. Now if I right click again and go select all instances, but in this case if I go with the entire project, now it's going to say 12 doors. So we have these 6 doors plus additional 6 doors that are maybe on some other floor plans below or above this current one. So you can use this option to select all instances of the same family inside of your either view or project if that's what you're looking for. Now you can also use this option through the project browser. So in some cases you might know how some family is called, but you can't really locate it here on the screen, and for that case you can scroll down here in the project browser and we have all of the families here. So if I expand the families node, as you can see we have many different categories, and if I find doors here, let's see, doors, expand that, we have our M single flush, which is the main one that I used here, expand that, and let's say I want to find out, do I have any of these largest types, and I can just right click, select all instances, I can go with visible in view, and as you can see those same 6 doors will highlight because, well, those are the ones of this type. And of course I can go here and go to entire project, and now it's going to select 12 instances of these doors. So it's a really useful way of selecting families just according to their family and type and finding them here in the project browser. So if you're looking for some family, this is how you can locate it. Okay, moving on, let's make the same selection. There we go, these 12 doors. Now, in some cases, you might want to save a selection that you're using. So you might be selecting some elements multiple times. You want to have that selection saved, so you can just select it whenever you want. Well, for that, we have a selection set panel. Here on the Modify tab, we have Selection Set. And then also you can find that on the Manage tab, here, Selection Set. So we have multiple tools. We have Save Selection, we have Load Selection, and then we also have Edit Selection. Now these two are grayed out because we don't really have any selections to load in, and we can't save the selection because we have nothing selected. So let's select this door, right click, select all instances, invisible in view. We have these 6 doors, and now I can go here to Save Selection, and it's asking me to, well, name this selection. So let's just call this one first So for example, these are all of the wood doors on this first floor. And now I have that selection. So at any time where you might find yourself in a position where you want to have that selection, you can just go here to the selection panel, go to load selection. Here we go, first floor wood doors, click OK, and now we have those 6 doors selected. You also have the ability to go here to edit selection. You can find that first floor wooden doors, and then you can go here into edit. And now, as you can see, the whole project goes into grayscale, and only, well, darker elements are these doors. Now you can add to the selection, and then you can say, I want to add this, I want to add this door, and this door as well, and then this door as well. And then you might remember, well, this isn't a wood door, this is a steel door here in this area where the stair is. So let's remove that from selection, and then you go there, and you just remove it from selection. Hit Finish Selection, and then click OK. Now, if you were to go here to Selection, Load Selection, click, select this one, click OK. Now we have 9 doors, so these 3 are included. So we have expanded our selection. You can also use different methods to create selections. You can go here to edit selection, you can create a new selection, and then you can either define rules or select items or use current selection. In this case, we don't have a current selection, nothing is selected, so only these two options are available. Now, if you go with the define rules, it's going to open up the filters. And I already have a video on this topic. You can search for it. Just search Balkan Architect filters in Revit, and you can find that. So I'm not going to explain this, but it is a very cool option. So let's just, for now, escape out of that. And then also, so now it has created this new filter 1, which I can either rename or I can actually delete it. So there we go. So you can create new selection sets. You can just go to here to select, and then it will basically get you to the same menu as we had previously when we edited that previous selection set. So here you can just add additional items, just like that. Now I'm just going to hit finish. And then I'm going to find this filter 1 and actually get rid of it by hitting delete. Yes, okay. Now I'm going to create a new selection set by selection, click OK, and then I'm just going to select a few, remove, there we go, add. I'm just going to select a few walls here, so make sure to select the walls. There we go. Okay, so once I have these walls selected, I can hit finish selection. Now it named it filter 1, which I don't like, so I'm going to rename that into my special walls. Click OK, OK again, and now we can use this selection to apply some rules or some visibility graphics overrides. So for each view in Revit, we have the visibility graphics overrides menu in the properties panel, and if I go into edit, here you can override some of the visibility graphics. Now here we have the filters option, and as I said, I already have a tutorial on that topic, but this filters option can use selection sets. So you can add a new selection set. You can go to special walls, click OK, and now we have that special walls selection added, and we can override the visibility of those items. So if I go here to the cut options, so this is how they appear in floor plans and sections, and if I override the pattern to be solid fill and then the color to be red, and if I click OK, click apply, OK, now as you can see, those walls have changed into red. So you have the ability to change the visibility graphics overrides for these elements. Now I'm just going to go back here into filters and then just select this and remove it. Click OK. There we go. Now, one more thing, if you don't like using the filters in Revit, another way that you can use maybe an advanced approach to creating a particular selection set is by going here to the project browser, scrolling down, and then using schedules. So you can create your own schedules, or in this case, I can just use the existing schedules that they have. So here I have this advanced panel schedule, and I have refined the schedule by using the filters here. So this might be a good different approach of creating selections because you can see the information a bit more graphically. So anyways, you can create a selection or you can create a new schedule and refine that schedule using filters, and then what you can do is just go like this, select the first field, hold the shift key, select the last field, and now, well, you have a selection. So if you move to the 3D view, as you can see here, we have a selection and we actually have 153 curtain panel items. So you can save this selection and then use it later on. Now, of course, if you accidentally click out, you can always right-click, select previous, there we go, and then we can save that selection. So this is our schedule panel selection, click OK, and there we go. We have a new selection set created. Okay, so that's how you create a selection sets, and those are my advanced approaches to creating selections in Revit. I hope you have learned a lot of new things in this tutorial. Tell me, do you find this as something that's going to improve your efficiency? Did you know about some of these? Which ones did you know about? Which ones you didn't? So just tell me all in the comment section below. I'm really excited about this video because I think it's really useful, so I'm really glad I figured these things out, and I'm happy that I can share them with you. Again, as I said, if you're interested in some of my advanced courses, I take this advanced look into Revit and I try to find best methods of completing certain tasks. I think it's really good when we have that course format where I can take a few hours to go in depth into a certain topic. So if you're interested, please check it out on the balkanarchitect.com website or my Patreon. Both links are in the description. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and I'll be back in a couple of days with another Balkan Architect tutorial. Make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Have a nice day.